Now, the first one I'm going to talk to you is about the arithmetic sequences. Okay, so basically, as I said, it's like 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we're going, and see how we're going up by 1 in the series I just said? Yeah? So if we're going up by the same number, that's arithmetic. Have a look at this one. T1. T1 means term 1. Okay, so if you see T with a little 1 notation there, this is a little notation for term 1. Okay? And then T2 means term 2, or the number 2 basically. Term 3 means T3 is term 3, or we can think of it as number 3, or the third number. Okay? And so on. And we usually say the first term as A. Okay? We always call the first term as A. Okay? So if the first term is A, then the second term would be A plus 1 times D, and D is the common difference. Alright, D stands for the common difference, okay, whereas A is the first term. Alright, so what I mean by common difference is that, for example, if you see a pattern like 2, 5, 8, okay, 11, see how we're going up by 3s? Okay, up by 3, and we're going up by 3, aren't we? Yeah? See how we're going up by 3 each time for the next number? So basically the common difference here is 3. Okay? That's what D means. That's basically what it is. So 3 in this case is the common difference. So we note that as D. Now the second term, the reason why we call it A plus 1D, have a look over here. If this 2 is our first term, to get the second number we simply add 3 one time, right? So that's why there's 1 here. To get the second number, we simply add 1 common difference to the first number A. Okay, that's basically what it means. Now to get to the third term, or the third number, we go the first term A plus 2 times D. Because have a look at here, see how this is the third term? To get to that point, we have to add 3 once and also twice. Okay, so to get to the third term, we say A plus 2 times D. Okay, that's basically it. So I hope that's not too difficult to understand. Now I'll show the fourth term. Term 4 is going to be the first term plus 3 times D. So again, have a look at this example here. This is the fourth term, and to get to that fourth term, we have to add 3, 1, 2, 3 times. Right? So that's why we're multiplying 3 to the common difference, and then we're adding that to the first term. Alright? That's basically what this is about. That's what arithmetic sequence is. So if I say Tn, where n is, we don't know what n is. N can vary, okay? So whatever n is, so the nth term would be the first term plus n minus 1d. And the reason why it's n minus 1, have a look at all of these. For term 4, we multiply the difference, common difference 3 times. Okay, see how 3 is 1 less than 4? And for the third term, we multiply the common difference 2 times. And see how 2 is 1 less than 3? And again, 1 over here is 1 less than 2. So therefore, this number here that we multiply to the common difference is always going to be 1 less than that term. Okay, that number term. So that's why we come up with A, which is the first term, plus n minus 1 times D. Alright? So this is if n can vary. So whatever n is, this is the case. So therefore I can give you this formula. Tn equals to, basically this is the same thing as this. Tn equals to A, the first term, plus n minus 1 times D, which is the common difference. So A is the first term, D is the common difference. That's basically it. This is something you must remember. Okay? I mean, if you don't remember that, you can think about it like this, but I don't want you to spend time doing this every single question. Best for you to memorize it. Okay? So please memorize this, because it's very important for you to do that. We're going to apply this all throughout our arithmetic sequence. So have a look at that. Tn equals to A plus n minus 1d. Okay? Should we try some questions? Okay, have a look at that. But before we go on, I'm just going to explain to you one more thing. Something similar. Okay, but I just want to explain this in real numbers. So if the first term is 2, okay, the first term is 2, the second term would be 2 plus 1 times the common difference. We'll say it's 3. Okay, remember our previous example that I gave you on the board? It's like that one. 2 plus, if the common difference, so the common difference here is going to be 3, that's D. And this is here is A. Common difference is 3, so we simply go 2 plus 1 times 3. Okay, and that's 5. Now to get to the third term, we do 2 plus 2 times 3. Okay, and then we get 8. And of course the fourth term, we go 2 plus 3 times 3, and that's equal to 11. So have a look at your final numbers. 2, 5, 8, 11. See how it's going up by 3 like a pattern? Okay, so we've got a right arithmetic sequence. And then of course when we have Tn, when we don't know what n is, we can just say 2 plus n minus 1. Remember how this is always going to be 1 less than that? So n minus 1 times the common difference 3. And then guys, simplify and you can get to a general equation or form like this. Okay, so Tn equals to 3n minus 1. We usually call this a general equation. Okay, when we don't know what n is. So I hope that example makes sense. Okay, it's basically you need to find the pattern. So let's go on to some questions now. Starting with question 1, find the 20th term of the arithmetic sequence. Okay, and this is the sequence they give us. 5, 40, 75, 110, 145, etc. Okay, and the list goes on. Now, this is the sequence that they give us, and they want us to find the 20th term. So how are we going to do that, guys? Remember our formula, okay? Tn equals to A plus n minus 1D. We need the first term, and we also need the common difference, don't we, in order to use the formula. So what I'm going to do is find my first term and common difference. First term is 5, which is the first on the list. So 5 is going to be our first term, okay? As you can see, straight from the list, or the sequence, okay? And the common difference, have a look at the common difference here. What do I have to add to 5 to get to 40? We simply add 35, don't we? So 5 plus 35 is 40. 40 plus 35 is 75. 75 plus 35 is 110, etc. So you can see that every time we're adding 35 to get the next number. So therefore, the common difference D is 35. Okay, so that was pretty simple, wasn't it? So if you've got the sequence, it's really easy to find first term and the common difference. All right. So I've got that. Now what I'm going to do is put it into my formula. Tn equals to A plus n minus 1D, where A is the first term, 5. D is the common difference, 35. So I've got 5 is A plus, I don't know what n is. Okay, I'm just going to find out my general equation first. I'm going to go n minus 1 times the common difference, 35. Okay, and then just simplify it like this. So look, 5 plus n minus 1 times 35, that's simplified to something like this. I don't know, you can just simplify it, guys. Just go step by step if you need to. Plus 35n minus 35. I expanded out the brackets. Okay, and then look, 5 minus 35 is minus 30 or negative 30. And then I have positive 35n, which I put at the front. Okay, so that's a little general equation we've built up. Now that we've got that, all we need to know is what n is. But what does the question say? It says find the 20th term. Okay, so basically we want to find T20. Okay, so n is going to be simply 20. So I'm going to put 20 into the n. So it's going to be 35 times 20 minus 30. Alright, so all I did was substitute 20 into that n and simplify. You should just get something like this, 670. Okay, so 35 times 20, then minus 30, you should get 675. Oh, sorry, 670, okay? So therefore, our final term 20 is going to be 670. And that's it. That's the answer to question 1. Okay? So can you see this, guys? All you have to do here, firstly find your first term, then you find your common difference, okay? Because we need those to find a decent formula or a general equation. And then when you're left with n, you can simply find what the question is asking you. In this case, they're asking us to find the 20th term. Simply sub in 20 and get your 20th term just like that. Okay? So that's it. That's question 1. Alright, have a look. Should we move on? Let's go on. Okay, so question 2 says consider t1 equals to negative 1, so term 1 equals to negative 1, and t5 equals to 11. So term 5, or the fifth number, is equal to 11 of an arithmetic sequence. So here, they only give us the first term and the fifth term, right? So therefore, for part A, it says find the general term, okay, or the general equation. Basically, we have to know the Tn equals to a plus n minus 1d in terms of n only. Okay, so we've got to know what a is, and we want to know what d is, don't we? Guys, can you see that t1 is equal to negative 1? What does t1 mean? That means term 1, or the first term, or basically the first number. So basically, t1 is a, which is negative 1. Okay, so we can just let a be negative 1. Okay, just by looking at what that is. Now what I'm going to do is apply this information. I'm going to find t5, because t5 is going to be a plus 5 minus 1, because n minus 1, right? So it's going to be n is 5 in this case, so I'm going to put 5 in there, so I have 5 minus 1, and then d. Okay, and that's equal to 11, all right? But we know what a is, right? A is negative 1, so I can say negative 1 plus 5 minus 1 is 4, d equals to 11. So I simply put a equals to negative 1. Alright? Now solve it, guys. Move negative 1 over, it should be 11 plus 1, which makes 12. So now d, to get d, divide both sides by 4, we should get d is just 3. So now we've found the common difference, haven't we? Yeah? So we know the first term a, we know the common difference d, so therefore we can put it into our formula, a plus n minus 1d. A is negative 1, d is 3. And we don't know what n is, we're just finding the general term, so put it in terms of n. So if n minus 1 as it is, I'm going to simplify it like this. So I'm just going to expand this out. Negative 1, 3 times n is 3n, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Okay, and then simplify, you should get something like this. 3n, I'm just going to put that at the front, and then negative 1 minus 3 is simply negative 4. So Tn equals to 3n minus 4 is our general term. And that usually means just in terms of n. Okay, that's it. That's question A for question 2. Alright, so all I did was use the information they give us basically, okay, and trying to find A and then trying to find D. And then I'm on the answer, okay? So we've got our general term. Let's move on to B. It says find the 50th term. 50th term, how are we going to do that? Well, we know what the general term is. Tn, depending on what n is given by 3n minus 4. So to find the 50th term, all we need to do is sub in 50 into that formula that we found, right? So we've got to find T50, so it's going to be 3 times 50 since n is 50, so 3 times 50 minus 4. And that's it. Simplify it, you should get 146. Okay, 3 times 50 minus 4, which would just be 146. That's the answer to B. So that was quite simple, wasn't it? So after we've got our general term, the rest is going to be pretty easy. Even if they say find the 1000th term, you can just put 1000 into n and just find what that is. Okay, so the 50th term is simply 146. That's the answer to question 2B. All right. So question 3 says consider T2 equals to 13. Okay, so they say term 2 is 13 and T5 is 31. So term 5 is 31 in an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so this time they give us the second term and the fifth term. Now part A says find the common difference. So we need to find D. So how are we going to do this? Basically, guys, I'm going to use the information they give me. Okay, so I'm going to start off by using this bit of information, T2 equals to 13, by applying it onto my formula. Okay, so I have A plus D equals to 13. Now for those who are wondering how we got A plus D, basically guys, T2 is going to be A plus, well, this is our usual formula, but N is going to be 2 here, isn't it? So I'm going to go A plus 2 minus 1 D, okay? And 2 minus 1 is what? 1, isn't it? So I have A plus 1 times D, which is simply A plus D. Okay, that's how we get A plus D. Basically, we're just using the formula all the time. Okay, so just for those who are confused. So that's T2. So A plus D is 13 because that's given, right? Now, I'm going to use my next bit of information, T5, like this. So T5 will be a plus 5 minus 1d, because n is 5 in this case. So I'm going to have 5 minus 1d, which is going to be 4d, and that's equal to 31. Okay, so 31. Now that I've got that, guys, I want to find the common difference. So basically I want to know what d is. How do we find d with these two information? We've got the first equation, second equation is that. So we have two equations, two unknown values, a and d. So what I'm going to do is just solve it simultaneously. Okay, a smart way to do this, I'm going to go T5 minus T2, so the fifth term minus second term. So I'm basically going to go this second equation minus first equation. So look, this part is going to be a plus 4d minus a plus d. Okay, so that minus that. Simply that's what I put here. And then of course 31 minus 13 is 18, isn't it? That's why I simplify that as 18 on our right hand side. Okay, simply 31 minus 13, since we're subtracting 1 from 2. So I've got 18 there. Now simplify, guys. This one, guys, this bit is going to be a plus 4d minus a minus d equals to 18, right? Because negative plus makes negative, doesn't it? Okay, look, guys, see how a's cancel? So what's left? 4d minus d, which is going to be 3d, and that's equal to 18. Okay, so I've got 3d is 18. So guys, can you tell me what d is? Simply divide both sides by 3 and we can get d is 6. That's it. And we don't have to go back and look for our first term, because all it's asking us to do is find the common difference, isn't it? Yeah? So simply d is 6. And that's the answer to part A of question 3. Okay, so that was pretty simple. All I did was use some simultaneous equations, wasn't it? Yeah? Let's go into B. So part B says find the first term. So now we want to find A. Okay, and so substitute d equals to 6. Remember we found that d equals to 6 in part A. So I'm going to sub this in 2. Remember how T2 was a plus d equals to 13? Remember how I told you that it's a plus d? So it's equal to 13. I'm simply going to sub in d equals to 6 into this formula like this. Okay, so it's going to be a plus 6 equals to 13. Okay, and then move 6 over, so I have a equals to 13 minus 6, which is 7, and that's the first term. Okay, that's it. All I did was substitute this back into one of those two equations we had in part A. Yeah, I substitute into this one and solve for a. I get 7. Okay, so now I've got a and d. So now I'm going to go to part C, find the 17th term. How are we going to do this? Well, T17 is going to be 7, which is the first term, plus n minus 1. N is 17, so I'm going to put 17 there, times the common difference, which is 6, isn't it? We found that d is 6, so I'm simply going to put 6 there. Okay? And then simplify that, guys. 17 minus 1 is 16, times 6, and then add 7, you just simply get 103. Okay, make sure you do the brackets first all the time. So I've got 103, that's the answer to part C. Okay, 103 is the 17th term. And we found that simply by finding our first term and this common difference, haven't we? Okay, that's question 3, that's question 3C. Alright, trying to have a look, trying to understand. And let's move on. So question 4 says, if the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence, okay, the first 3 terms are 5.2, 7.4, and 9.6. So this time there's some decimal numbers. But anyway, which term is equal to 53.6? So this time they want to find n. Which term is equal to this one, if these are the first 3 numbers? Well, guys, look at the first 3 numbers. We can say that T1 is 5.2 because that's the first number. The second number, which we call as T2, is 7.4. And the third number, which we say T3, that's simply 9.6. So I just wrote it in that notation. Now I can say that A is 5.2 because T1 is the first term. First term is A, so therefore A is 5.2. Okay? And the common difference is 2.2. How do we find that? Well, look guys, 5.2 plus what is 7.4? 2.2, isn't it? 5.2 plus 2.2 is 7.4. Or basically you can think of it like this. 7.4 minus 5.2 is 2.2, right? And also 7.4 plus 2.2 is 9.6. So 2.2 is the common difference that I just found like that. Simply D is 2.2. Okay? So I've got A, I've got D. So what I'm going to do now is find an equation. Look, 5.2, which is the first term. Okay, remember how it's A plus N minus 1D? That's A, so 5.2 plus N minus 1 D. D is 2.2, so I put that there. And what is this equal to? We want to find N when this whole term is equal to 53.6, isn't it? That's why I put 53.6 there. So all we need to do now is solve for N. Okay, that's why it's equal to 53.6. And then now all we need to do is solve for N. That will be the term that will make 53.6. Okay, so let's solve it. So what I'm going to do is move 5.2 over. So I have 53.6 minus 5.2. And then simply, I'm going to simplify this. That's going to be 48.4, right? And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2.2. So 48.4 divided by 2.2. And this side is left with just N minus 1. And to find, well basically 48.4 divided by 2.2 is 22, isn't it? Okay, to simplify it guys, 22. And then to find N, we simply move 1 over. So we have 22 plus 1. So N is simply 23. Okay, and that's the answer. So the 23rd term is 53.6. That's how you can think of it, Mike. Okay, the 23rd term is 53.6 because it says which term? 23rd term. All right, that's the answer to question 4. Okay, so I hope you're getting the hang of this. All right, so I hope you've memorized the formula kind of by now. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 5 says, find 8th term of 5 plus 2b, 5 plus 5b, 5 plus ab, 8b, and so on. Okay, so the list goes on. Okay, the 8th term. Right, how are we going to do that? Well, this is the first term, second term, third term. So I can say that A, which is the first term, is the first term in the list, which is 5 plus 2b. Okay, so although it's in terms of b, we're still going to use it like that. So 5 plus 2b, the whole thing is the first term. Okay, now the common difference D, we found it's 3b. How do we get that? Well look, 5 plus 2b, we add 3b, we're going to get 5 plus 5b, right? Because 2b plus 3b is 5b. And then if we add 3b to that, we're going to get 8b. And see how the 5 is saying? So therefore the common difference is 3b. Okay, if I add 3b to this one, I get the next one. If I add 3b to this one, I get the next one, don't we? So the common difference is 3b. Again, this one's also in terms of b, but that's fine, okay? We just don't know what b is. Okay, so now that we've got that, I'm going to put it into my formula, okay? T8, or basically Tn will be, well T8 is A plus N minus 1D. N is 8, so I'm just going to put 8 into the formula N. Okay, where N is. So that is going to be A is 5 plus 2B, so I put 5 plus 2B in replacement of A. And then 8 minus 1 is 7. And the common difference D, we found that it's 3B, so I'm going to put 3B there. Okay. Now let's simplify like this. 7 times 3, okay, is 21. So 21b plus 2b is 23b. Okay, so therefore term 8 is 5 plus 23b. That's the 8th term. Alright, and just put it in terms of b since the question is all in terms of b. Okay, so that's a perfectly fine answer. That's question 5, guys. Have a look. That's the 8th term. Okay, and see how the 5 is remaining for all of these? See how it's all 5? That's because the common difference is 3b, so nothing changes for the 5 except only changes for the b's, right? So this time it's 5 plus 23b. Okay? That's the answer to question 5. Let's move on. Question 6 says, find the number of terms in an arithmetic sequence with A equals to 2, so the first term is 2, D is 2, so the common difference is 2, and the last term is 44. So they give us 3 bits of information here, the first term, the common difference, and also the last term. Okay, the last term is 44. But what do we have to find? We have to find the number of terms. How many terms is there in that sequence? Okay, if the last term is 44. Okay, well guys, basically, I'm going to put it into my formula, 2 plus n minus 1 times 2, because 2 is A, D is 2, okay? So A is 2, D is 2, and then I don't know what n is. I don't know how many terms there are, so I'm just going to let that be n. So n minus 1 times 2, and that's equal to 44. But why do we let it equal to 44, guys? Why do you think I just let that be equal to 44? Because the last term indicates how many terms, okay? So for example, if I had that 2, 3, okay, 4, 5. If this is the arithmetic sequence, it's a pretty easy one because it's just going up by 1. The last term is 5, right? Okay. So how many terms do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the fourth term is 5, okay? And there's 4 numbers altogether, okay? Where the last term is 5. So if there's 4 numbers in this sequence, the fourth term must be the last number, which is 5. Okay? So how many numbers there are in a sequence can indicate what the last number is as well. Okay? And on the other hand, if I have the last term, okay, that will be the term or the number of terms in the sequence. Okay? So 4 terms, so the fourth term is the last number. Think of it like that. Hopefully that makes sense. So see how in this one, they give us the last term, 44. So therefore, we don't know how many terms there are, but that number of terms, the nth term will be the last number, 44. So that's why I put 44 there. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. Okay, try to understand that concept. And let's just simplify that equation and solve for n, just like this. So I'm going to move 2 over, so I have 44 minus 2, which is 42. Okay, so I have 2 times n minus 1 left on here. Divide both sides by 2, so this side I only have n minus 1 left, and 42 divided by 2 is 21. And to get n, simply move the negative 1 over, so we have 21 plus 1, so n is simply 22. Okay, so we found n. Therefore, there are 22 terms altogether in that particular arithmetic sequence. That's the answer, okay? So guys, there are 22 terms in this arithmetic sequence. Therefore, the 22nd term is 44, okay, because that's the last term. Alright, so I hope you understand what I'm saying there, okay? That's another important concept you've got to understand. Alright, so that's the answer to question 6. It's always asking us finding the number of terms in the full sequence. There are 22 terms. Okay? Alright, shall we move on? Let's go. Question 7. The fourth term of an arithmetic sequence is 116 and the common difference is 9. Find the first term. Okay, this time they give us the fourth term. The fourth term, or T4, is 116. The common difference D is 9. But we're asked to find the first term A, right? So what are we going to do? Well, I'm just going to use my information, the information that they give us. But first of all, I'm going to find T4. Well, T4 is going to be A. We don't know what A is. So A plus 3D. The reason why I have 3, because 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so n minus 1D. So 4 minus 1D is 3D. And that's equal to 116, like that as given. This is given information, isn't it? So I've made that. Now it says common difference is 9, so I'm just going to put D as 9. Alright? So now all we need to do is solve for A. So A is going to be 3 times 9 is 27. So to get A, all I need to do is move 27 over to the other side. So I have 116 minus 27. That's A. Simplify it, guys. You should get A is 89. Because 116 minus 27 is simply 89. And that's it. So that was pretty simple, wasn't it? There was quite simple steps. That was question 7. A, the first term, is simply 89. Alright, does that make sense, guys? So basically, guys, if you don't really know how to approach it, as long as you remember the formula a plus n minus 1d, just try to use that with the information given. They say fourth term, okay, I'm just going to go and find T4. Okay, even though I don't know what A is, I'm just going to go for it. And then see how I just got to the answer? So I hope that one makes sense. That was question 7. A is 89. Alright? Let's move on. Okay, question 8 says the first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence are 48, 41, and 34. Okay? So I hope you can see this time, guys. See how it's going down? The number is decreasing. That's also an arithmetic function, okay? If the numbers can decrease as we go on, okay? Now we're going to write the formula for the nth term. So let's go find the general term, basically. So what I'm going to do is find A. A is the first term. Okay, they said the first 3 terms. So the first term is the first one on the list, which is 48. So A is 48. Okay? But now, guys, look at the common difference. Well, it's going down by 7, isn't it? 48 minus 7 is 41. 41 minus 7 is 34. But it's going down, okay? The numbers are decreasing, so therefore, it's negative 7. Okay? 48 minus 7 makes 41. So make sure the common difference is not 7, it's got to be negative 7. That's very important, guys. So please take an eye on that. Okay? So D is negative 7. And that's always the case if it's decreasing. Okay, if the sequence is decreasing as we move on. Alright? So please take a note on that. So we've got A, we've got D. So all I'm going to do is put it in my Tn formula. So Tn is going to be A plus n minus 1d. A is 48, as we found, plus, we don't know what n is. N can be just anything, so I'm going to go n minus 1. And d is simply negative 7. Okay? To simplify that, guys, I'm going to have something like this. Well, basically, I'll simplify it for you. 48 plus, look, n times negative 7. So basically, it's negative 7n, isn't it? So instead of the plus, I'll put negative 7n. And then negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. So plus 7. Okay? Now 48 plus 7 is 55. And that's the negative 7n just follows. Alright, so that's why we have Tn equals to 55 minus 7n. That's our general term. Or we can just call it a formula for Tn, or the nth term. Okay? That's part A. We've got the formula. Let's go on to B. Because B asks us if the last term of the sequence is negative 29, how many terms are there in the sequence? So again, guys, they give us the last term. Okay, so I hope you guys know how to approach a question like that when they give us the last term. Okay, what I'm going to do, we need to find how many terms there are in the full arithmetic sequence. I'm going to go 55 minus 7n, that's Tn, isn't it? This is Tn, right, that we found in part A. So Tn equals to 55 minus 7n. And we want to find n when the last term is negative 29. Because again, remember how I told you? If there are n many terms in an arithmetic sequence, the nth term is the last term. So if you find that nth term, that will be the last term, which is negative 29. Okay, that's why I put the last term equal to that Tn. Alright? So I'll rub this off so you're not confused. Have a look. I made it equal to the last term. So if they give you the last term, just like equal to the last term. And if we find n in terms of that from this equation, we can find how many terms there are. So I'm just going to simplify it. I'm going to move 55 over, so I have negative 29 minus 55. So negative 7n equals to negative 84, because negative 29 minus 55 is negative 84. Simply divide both sides by 7, guys, and you should get n equals to 12. Okay? See how the negatives, we can just cancel that. Okay, you can just cancel it if there's both sides are negative. 84 divided by 7 is 12. So n equals to 12. That's how many terms there are in this particular arithmetic sequence. Okay? So guys, there's 12 numbers in this sequence, so the 12th number is the last term, which is negative 29. Okay, so I hope that's okay for you now. something regarding the last term. Okay, that's basically the answer. So hopefully you found that the pattern for all the questions are pretty much similar, isn't it? All we do is basically apply our formula. Tn equals to a plus n minus 1 d. Okay, so hope that makes sense, and hope the formula's in there in your brain by now, okay? So please remember that formula. That was arithmetic sequence.